All right, so let's jump into a back testing session here. Yesterday, I missed a session. I was gonna do it pretty much like late at night, like 8, 9, 10 ish, but got a phone call from a couple buddies. Uh, I've been helping them like design some of their clothes for their up and coming clothing brand. So got pretty much taken off track with that, and yeah, didn't have time to jump into a back testing session yesterday. So it's early. It's 9:22 today. I'm gonna do a back testing session. May tap over and look into the live markets um, for 9:30 open. So we'll jump into that. Um, where I left off on the previous session. Let me go to the analytics real quick. My volume and stuff is on, showing it. Okay, cool. So where we're at here, we're at 1.21% up overall. We won 6 trades, lost 12, 18 trades total, 33% win rate. Average risk to reward is 1.63. We need to get this up. Need to definitely get this up to at least 2. And risk to reward is pretty good. Like for Tuesday, we lose 1,000, but we make 2,700. Wednesday is like right around that break even point. Thursdays aren't the best, and Fridays is right around break even. Uh, but mainly trading New York session. So yeah, let's just continue on. I also want to touch on where do I go here? Um, Not that one. Sorry for not responding to you, bro. I just want to double check that the one you mark as OB isn't it a breaker block. I mean, depending on how you look at it, order blocks on a higher time frame are like a breaker block on a lower time frame. Um, but yeah, here, right here, FX cartel, 1 minute time frame for entries, 25-point risk, 25 to 50-point target. So I'm gonna look into this today. So I'll add on the 1 minute chart and get into it like that. Excuse me. So for this session, we'll take FX Cartel's advice. We'll look into the 1 minute time frames for entries. Let's actually do NQ. Yeah. So yeah, we'll look at FX Cartel's 1 minute time frame for entries. I don't have much faith in the 1 minute because I tend to get faked out a lot on that time frame. But let's see how it plays out. We may get some, decent trades out of it. But with 5 minutes to market open, let's go here real quick and just do a breakdown on it here. It's moving my chart is moving slow. Um, but NQ have a weekly fair value gap. We broke through this high here, formed a high. So now we have this order block here. This is Friday, right? Okay, so we have this order block here that is resisting price currently. We formed this Friday's high. Monday's action took out Friday's high and then closed below it. Rather, I wouldn't say aggressively, but created that doji, so indecision candle here after closing below Friday's high. So on a lower time frame, if price is truly bearish, which in this case our dealing range has been set from this high to this low, we have this fair value gap right here with some relative equal highs above it. So if price is truly bearish and wants to trade down to this hourly gap here, we could run out Monday's high and then drop, or sorry, Asia's high and then drop for sell side here and some relative equal lows here. This wick, yes, it does, wick all of this out, but the bodies are relatively clean. So um, with that, we run out Friday's high and then trade lower. You could just call this a shift in structure. You have an inverse fair value gap or the fair value gap here. So if price is truly bearish, we can look to trade short for some lows. ES, similar situation. ES may continue rallying because there is no order block or bearish order block on ES. We took out previous week's high and closed below. No real displacement lower, so we may continue pushing higher on ES, essentially to this gap here, um, and then see what price does. It has been in a slight consolidation. Same thing with NQ and same thing with YM. So those have been in a consolidation. I mean, YM is just pushing higher above buy side, and it's just rallying its all-time highs. So no real reason to hop in. If you were to hop in, you could look for buys to continue that bullishness. And then for gold yesterday was pretty solid. But at the moment with gold, may want to come up to this high right here, this Wednesday 522.24 high. That may be the draw that price wants to trade up into. Yeah. Yesterday's action for gold was pretty solid. A regular internal to external range liquidity. Fair value gap is supported. Fair value gap supported on Monday. London session, we expand higher. On 9:30, we run out. So we run out Asia's low here. Shift structure. You have your OTE entry here at the order block, the higher time frame order block, and this 15-minute order block here. You enter and you exit for buy side. That was a solid trade, but yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much time because this is lagging like a bad. So jumping into the back testing session here on NQ, you have this fair value gap here that is likely to be supporting price currently, so we can go from internal to external. So this high here is likely to be the draw. Dropping down to the daily, right? We have these sweeps on these lows. Price is expanding higher bullishly. Right, this was the last trade that we took on the last session. Swept liquidity, shifted price higher, relative equal highs. Ultimately, this high back here is the draw. This is Wednesday, and Friday is this. Why is that 6 p.m.? Oh, well, yeah. So, boom, we're pushing higher for buy side. What time is this? Yeah, let's go to the next New York session. So we swept out all of the buy side liquidity there, generate relatively equal highs here. So what I would like to look for is a price comes down into a fair value gap of some sort and then pushes higher bullishly. Let's see if we can see that on the hourly. Okay. I like these lows here. So this would be considered Asia's low down here. That price can run down to, sweep, and then push higher. So we'll just mark that as sell side. Yeah, I like this. So I would like to see, especially running out the buy side over here. Yes, we do have relatively equal highs, but We run out buy side. We fully fill in this inefficiency here that closed above this high. So this can be looked at as a potential inverse fair value gap to continue lower to take these lows out and then push higher. So I'm just noting out all of the lows that price can potentially reverse at. So if I'm looking to take 1 minute entries, FX cartel, um, what I may look for is like a 15 minute or a 5 minute change in state of delivery and then look at the 1 minute for that fair value gap. Because the entry protocol is run on stops, fulfill on the inefficiency on the left side of the curve, an inefficiency created on the right side of the curve, a shift in structure, and then the pullback to that fair value gap entry or order block entry or breaker entry, whatever you see first. Enter there, stops below the low, and then target your target 1 to 2 or 50 points, whatever it may be. So for this example here on the 15 minute, what I may look to do is see price come down to these lows, see if we get some clean rejections, and then aim for buy side. So this is 9 a.m. This is 9:15. This is 9:30. Starting to push higher a little bit, and we start to get that drop down, sweeping sell side, nice. If we get a close above any of these lows here, then that'll give me reason to drop down into lower time frame to look for what do you call this? The entry protocol, as well as tapping into this fair value gap over here. I would like to start seeing bullishness. You see the 5 minute and the 1 minute. Okay, so here on the 1 minute, there isn't any inefficiencies here that get fully filled, but we do see a sweep. So we have the run on higher time frame sell side, then we have a run on lower time frame sell side. This here being looked at as the breaker because this was the last up candle before the down move that took out sell side liquidity. So we can look at this breaker block here as a potential entry. Entering here, stops below the low here. We'll just go the full low because that gives us enough room. And we have gaps, highs, gaps, and ultimately relative equal highs up here that we can target. Check that out. Let's just go trend line right here, boom. So targeting all of these highs up here, so decent amount of profit potential. So let's see what we can do here. I'm comfortable risking. So what I'm gonna start doing as well is asymmetrical compounding, where for example, if I take this trade here, risking 300, profit is 867. If I win this trade, on the next trade, my risk would be either half of 867 or all of 867, and then go from there. So just to test things out. Let's see what we do here. 1 minute, we get tapped in. The breaker should hold. Get into slight drawdown, tapping this order block here. So if we get the expansion, just looking at it here, if this order block, these last two down candles before the up move, if these hold price and we close above this here, that would turn these last two down candles into an order block, and then I would like to see price push up higher from there. But just looking at it on the higher time frame, we may not get that, especially with it being, this fair value gap here that gets created. We may push up higher for that, but let's just see what we do. We get stopped out on the 5 minute. Yeah, like on a 5 minute for me, this would have made no sense to enter. That's a little bit as to why I don't like trading the 1 minute, because yeah, you get your stop hunt, you get your shift instruction, you get a breaker, and you get maybe a fair value gap, but you get faked out because it makes sense as to why it should push higher, but maybe I'm just catching it at the wrong spot. So I'm gonna just stick to what I know, stick to what I've been doing. Uh, no, no disrespect or anything to I know 1 minute time frames work, just not for me. So just gonna stick with that. Continue pushing forward. 15-minute fair value gap. So for example, this gap here, if we run below this low here, expand higher, shifting structure here, then we can look for higher prices. With this being 1040, maybe a little too late for that. Yeah. And dropping a little bit more. 11 a.m. What is this 4 hour? What's the 4 hour inverse? Yeah, that's a 4 hour inverse for a value gap. All right, so the PM session may run higher. Just saying. Yeah, that made sense as to why I would run higher. Let me see what the 1 minute looks like, just to give it some clarity. Run down, full fill, shift here. We have to re-enter right there. Okay. Yeah, but it's at 11:30. Yeah, I'm not fiending for 1 minute entries. Not anymore, at least. Um, yeah. So Friday or Thursday pushed up into the buy side liquidity, which made sense. So now that we run out the buy side, we may retrace down into this 50% of the fair value of the wick after running out this buy side, and looks like it's showing a little bit of speed and displacement to sell side. So if you have like the 1 hour change in state, then we could potentially look to come down into like a fair value gap down here. Because we took out external range liquidity, we can come down into internal. So this here can be looked at as the draw. Let's see. Yeah, let's note that hourly gap. Yeah, so we have relative equal lows over here. We have an hourly fair value gap here. We do have some relative equal highs. Let me see again. Yeah, so our current dealing range, because we took out sell side here and we took out buy side here, is from this low to this high. And if we look at it right now, we're above 50%, so we may want to drop down into discount before looking to buy again. So that makes sense. Let's see what we do. This is 9 a.m. 9:15, 9:30. Nice. Okay, so we tapped into that hourly inefficiency. Now we're coming back up into this hourly SIBI. Looks like it may consolidate. Okay, so we get some displacement back above it. It's like we may create a order block here. And no fair value gaps created yet. Looks like, yep, fulfill here. The SIBI. 15-minute gaps, nothing. But this uh, 1 hour gap can be used as support to push higher. Yeah, no gaps here for entry, but the draw is definitely all of these highs up here. Came back down into this, the mean threshold of the hourly SIBI. So this would be looked at as that inverse gap. Why is this so slow? Right here to continue higher. Here you go. A slightly deeper run on those highs there. But yeah, that was Friday. Let's go over to here and see what we're doing. Yeah, so like I said for NQ, we're gonna open and sweep the buy side here. Now, if we're truly bearish, we would sweep that and then look lower. So now we can see we swept buy side liquidity. Let's start dropping down into lower time frames. Okay, so this would make sense for a potential entry where we sweep buy side liquidity. We have a full fill on an inefficiency here. We shift structure here. We have a fair value gap left open there. This makes sense to take. Targeting about 50% of that. But let's go 1 to 2. That makes sense. I can see that happening. ES, nothing really. YN, just pushing higher. So, but yeah, let's see if this plays out and keep our focus on backtesting. All right, so new week. See what we're doing. I still think we can push higher for buy side. Uh, we're right here at the highs. I still think we can push higher. Okay, so we have a gap up. So we're probably coming down into that gap. We can find support at the gap and these highs here. We can look higher. Yeah, we also have this order block here on the 4 hour that we can use as support. 1 hour and a 15-minute. Yeah, we have these lows underneath the gap, so that could be where price would want to go to um, if we fully fill this in. if we don't find support at it. But just looking at it now and keeping the bullish bias, I would want to see price after running out this low here, come down into the gap a little bit more and trade higher. You also have this fair value gap here, so if you disrespect this, then we're green for buys. This is 915. 930 opens. Tap into the fair value gap. Do we get a full fill? Yeah, this would be the area that I would need to see to start shifting things. Maybe see a close above that high. It's a good, yep, that's good. There's our close, there's our fair value gap here. So this is just a 15-minute play where we run sell side, fully fill in a SIBI, leave open a BISI, shift structure here, breaking structure. I don't have a breaker structure thing, but this is breaking structure, and then we have this gap here that can be looked at as institutional order flow entry drill, as well as this up candle would be looked at as a breaker. These last 1, 2, 3 down candles would be looked at as an order block. So putting up my stop here, and then stops below this down candle here, targeting 1 to 2, and ultimately the buy side up here is what I'm looking at. So we'll place this order, save, see what we're able to do. Price starts pushing higher. May not get an entry. Gosh, what time is this? -11. Yeah, this may just continue pushing higher. Tap the open. You get entered in, but what time is it? 11:45. So we're playing it close to lunch. It's lunch, so I would be holding this, especially with it being entered on the 15-minute. This is more of like the daily range. It's not being looked at as like a scalp. It's more so being looked at as like trying to capture the full 4 hour or the daily range. So yeah, may have a little bit of trouble here because there's the run here, order block made, but we're bullish. Just structure overall is bullish. So let's see what we can do here. Pushing higher. This is all lunch, 12:30, so we can skip and fast forward this. Breaking above this high, it's definitely not a 1 to 1. Well, just about. So I'll move stops. I mean, I was just about to move my stops to like right around here, but guess not. Oh, and this just PM session didn't even occur, so not too sure what happened there, but yeah, I'm gonna just take this off because I'm not sure what happened. Let's see what happens here. Because this is 6 p.m. Like, I'm not trading this time or holding shit for that. Yeah. Yeah, we'll take that, whatever. Let's see what happened over here on NQ. Yeah, it ends up hitting the target. It doesn't get we don't get a retracement into that fair value gap. I mean, we could have, but no retracement. But that's fine. It played out. It made sense. ES pushing higher. YM pushing higher drastically. Gold, same thing. Dollar's probably doing terrible because we had sell side liquidity down here. So for dollar, my draw is these lows here. We have this fair value gap that broke through this low here. So if we're truly bearish, for me, I would want to see if dollar can run into this fair value gap and then look lower. If it can't, no worries. That just shows weakness in dollar. And we can sell into that. So these relative equal highs up here, I would like to see taken out before the drop. But it doesn't have to do that. But that's ideally what I would like to see. But just going back to back testing, let's just clean all of this up. Currently in a consolidation too, so clean all of this mess up. Like this, or look at this. So this isn't a close yet. This is just Tuesday. Looking at the 4 hour, we did run out this high. So we ran this high out and then showed speed and displacement lower, closing below this low, potentially leaving open a fair value gap. Um, so we can draw to this gap here. So this is like the only gap that I would imagine, as well as the order block. Before maybe tapping that order block and pushing higher, we just have to wait and see. That's too long of a analysis for me to stick with. But looking at it here, yeah, I mean, relatively equal, relatively equal, relatively equal. So really just generating buy side liquidity, trading down into these levels here. For truly bearish, we use these last two up counters before the down move to look for price to trade lower, as well as, yeah, we tapped into this order block here during London and then dropped. So let's see, this is 9 a.m. This is 9:15, 9:30. Looks to be I was gonna say looks to be resisting this fair value gap, but not anymore. Mm, I hate leaving clean lows. Absolutely hate leaving clean lows, man. But we're pushing higher. The daily's just, yeah, we're pushing higher. Yeah, I may not take the trade today. I may take a trade tomorrow, just based on how the daily is forming. Let's see if we get something special here. Tapped into that inverse fair value gap, pushed higher a little bit more. Order block. It's Disrespected him. I'm gonna look to Wednesday to take a trade. Wednesday. See the daily. Okay. So coming down, after taking out this high here, this low would be on the menu. So we sweep this low, fail to take out this low, and then close back above this low. New day opens. We open up here. We trade down to a fair value gap or order block or inefficiency down here, 50% of the wick. And then we're starting to rally higher, still being above this low here. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah, to me, this looks like it's just working this level here, failing to get down to these lows over here. Consolidation, manipulation, and then distribution above the highs. This does look a little funky though. Because we run this low here, this would be looked at as like a breaker. But we may get some good action inside of this. We had 8:30 news. So we could possibly run this low here, tap into the daily open, tap into this fair value gap, and then push higher. And we have a ton of generated buy side here. I like this. I like the way this is setting up. Let's see if we run lower. This is 9 a.m. This is 9:15. Tap that order that fair value gap at 8:30. Come on, run low. Come on, run low. Run low. Run low. Run low. Nice. Boom. There's your sweep. And price start pushing higher a little bit. 3 minute, 2 minute, 1 minute. Yeah, I'm not looking at none of those. Because of this 5 minute fair value gap, it can very well respect that. I would want to see a full fill here. There we go. Here's my fair value gap to enter at once we create it. I mean, not this one, this one. This fair value gap. Nice. Gonna enter here. Stops below here. Targeting buy side and higher. So I'll go these highs up here. And then I'll just manage risk as we get up there. So because I'm a little bit more confident in this one, I'll risk a little bit more. See what we can do here. Looks like we're about to get tapped in. Get tapped in. We start pushing higher a little bit. There we go. You start to run. Boom, buy side gets met. So stops are gonna move up. Let's push it above, below this low here inside of this fair value gap. Um, what I'll do also, once we get above this high here, I'll take a portion off. What the fuck? What just happened? What just happened? Where's my order? Bro, where the fuck is my order? What the fuck? That's crazy, FX replay. I don't know where the fuck my order went. Let's see if this plays out though. Tap this fair value gap here. Should push higher. Oh my god, this would have been a monster trade. And I risked 1%. I mean, half a percent. Full TP. Well, not even full. This right here is just 2.9. Oh man. FX replay. What the fuck? If this is the trade, why is it saying that realized is only $85? I don't get it. Entry at 6956. Initial stop loss at 6942. Max TP. That's why. Max TP is 2 fucking points. Max TP was right here. 6958. This is what max TP was. Are you fucking serious? Like, bro, are you kidding me, bro? 695825. You shitting me, bro? That just got me hot. What the fuck, bro? Fuck it. Alright, bet. Say no more. So because this trade worked out and it was framed off of the daily time frame, from here on out, if the trade does not make sense on the daily time frame or the 4 hour, I'm not taking it. Because this trade played out so well. This is insane. Let me see something. Let me see something. Yeah, even still, there's no like shift. But cool. The fuck is this? Who fucking order is that? Whatever. Shake that shit off. So now still, I believe the draw is higher. Is this even the correct timing? This is still PM. Yeah, I still think the draw is higher. Yeah, it pushed higher for buy side. Yeah, so still, I think these highs are on the menu, especially with us respecting this low here, failing to close below it. Still think we can go from internal inside the range to external. Um, yeah, support this order block. Still pushing higher. We do have a swing high that most likely going to form. But the dealing range is where is it? Don't know at the moment. Don't really need it either. I'm still bullish. We can run these relative equal lows. We also have some trend line liquidity. I just love trend line liquidity right there. So price can run lower, sweep some sell side, and then push higher for buy side. So this is 9 a.m. Nice. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh my goodness. 9:15, 9:30 is here. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Full fill on this inefficiency. We sweep above this high here and leave open a fair value gap. No fair value gap. Just a sweep on buy side. Today's Thursday. This inverse fair value gap may be the reason we push higher. I mean, the 15-minute looks pretty clean. I just would like to see a fair value gap to enter on. Oof, this action is tough. This action is trash. Sheesh. With the run on these lows here, I would like to see price action push higher. And what I'm noticing too is after 8:30, like into 9 and 9:30, we usually run liquidity, tap into like a fair value gap of some sort to continue pushing. That's what I've been noticing. But this action looks shit. So we're just gonna go to the next day. Nice. So ended up pushing higher for PM probably, or even just continued the action. Yeah, so it dropped lower and then just in 30 minutes took those highs out. Yeah, still no entry though. Yeah, so we just generate buy side liquidity, run below the low here, fulfill that inefficiency, and then push higher. That's cool. No clear entry there though. But here, a shit ton of trend line. There, we run these lows here, push higher, fully fill this, leave gap, leave gap, leave gap, shift structure there. So we retrace down, we can push higher to, where's the weekly highs? This high here. Yeah, this is 9 a.m., 9:15, at fair value gap, 9:30. Run out sell side, run out buy side, low, high, 50% is up right around. but we just push higher. And we tap that draw. Okay, we tap into that. 1 minute. Oops. 1 minute. Sweet. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Maybe a scalp here at this inverse fair value gap. And the mean threshold of this consolidation over here. It's not worth it. Draw is met though. That made sense. Next week. Draw this high up here. So we're pushing higher strongly. Uh, Friday is a large expansion day. We have this up candle before the down move. So we took that liquidity out. We have relatively equal highs with this high and the current high there. And then we have this order block. Let's see on the 4 hour if that makes it open. So let's just note that high over there. Oh, and there's a gap here. So that's even better to know. A 4 hour gap. We could come up into that inefficiency. Nice. Okay, that's a little bit better to know because then we have this fair value gap here that we could support off of, go from internal range liquidity to external. If we fill this in, we can go down into a deeper discount and then push higher. Yeah. So let's see here. We have relatively equal lows there. Let's see if we get a run 9:30 into it. So, bro, same example. Run liquidity, trade into a fair value gap, and then look for higher prices right at New York. 9 a.m., 9:15, 9:30 opens. We push higher into that higher time frame fair value gap. Running out buy side, leaving relatively equal lows. So we may see price come from external to internal, especially leaving relatively equal lows there. But we are bullish, so that may be like a little risky picking a top. They were just playing around now. Pushed a little higher. Yeah, no clean action on this Monday. So let's move forward. Fully fill that in. So going up to a 4 hour and a daily. Yeah, I think the draw is still those highs. We did fully fill in this gap here, so when we come down, we have relatively equal lows all right here as well with this fair value gap. Yeah, this is like the third time I'm saying it. I want to run sell side liquidity into fair value gap. This is sell side. Yeah, see this gap here and this gap here. Run this sell side liquidity into the gap. So what we can may be able to see is price come down into that. This was 9 a.m., 9:15, 9:30 opens. Auto whipsaw. See, do we take out the high? Do and we push a little higher? Excuse me, there's a fair value gap right here. The price got supported at. No entry protocol though, so that's fine. This is Tuesday as well. Oh, we get a large displacement after running out this high, and this high. Okay. This gap here, after it ran out this high, was supporting price, and we displaced through it, so that's a full fill. We have a shift here as well with the fair value gap left open. I may be crazy, but this makes sense right here. Maybe a little cuckoo, but that looks decent. Daily, super high premiums. 4 hour, we took out the last two up candles. We have a shit ton of sell side in the gap below us. 15 minute, we have a change in state. We ran out buy side. Close below here. We have relatively equal holes there. I'm gonna take this sell. Time 10:45. Eh, let's get down to these lows here. And then depending on how it's moving, we can adjust. So I'll start off with this. Let's pay attention to our fucking entry and our TP. Entry is 71.74. Okay. TP is 71.52. Okay. Price taps that 15-minute order block. You start to displace lower. Yeah, I want to look lower for these lows here. So now my stop is going to get moved a little bit down. So decreasing risk. Speed and displacement to these lows here. Stops at break even. A little bit in profit. 5 minute fair value gap. You see continuation lower. Nice. Tap the daily open. Rare sticks. Let's move price here. Since we ran this low here, what I'll do. Oh, I think that's what it was. I closed it and it closed automatically. It can't. It has to show me. Yeah. We'll take 50% off. I will let it run. Beautiful trade. Oh wow, it's playing. It generated a shit ton of. It generated a shit ton of sell side just now, but it may blow through this now. Yo, ran buy side into that order block. What's the 15-minute look like? I should have got out a long time ago. Let's see. Whoa, I just peeped that. I said I should have got out a long time ago. Let's see what price does. Yeah, fuck no. Terrible. That's terrible. Just because of that, I'm closing out. That was terrible. I should not be saying that. I should not be saying that. Should have got out a long time ago, but let's see what price does. That's like hoping for a shooting star. Nigga, no. What the fuck? Terrible. That was not good. The trade was good. The trade made sense, but that mindset was not good. We were up, like, bro, I was up. First of all, I was up 1 to 2, clean, nice and easy. And I said, no, drawing liquidity is lower. Looking for sell side. Now this is 3R. Even if I just took out at 3R, made this a 1 to 3, we would have got out. But it started moving back and forth. During lunch, I'm like, no, I'll wait. Let's see. After I'm already up, that's the greed. That's the greed that is kicking in. Fuck no. Handle that bitch at the start of shit. That shit would have pissed me off if I lost. Because it ended up reversing. Nah, bro. I'm good off that one. 618. Let's move over into the next day. Yeah, pushing higher, fully filled in that 4 hour gap. We have a order block right here. And we still have this sell side. So this is just generated sell side liquidity at this point. And we're pushing higher. We have some lows and a gap right here. Again, we run sell side, trade into a fair value gap, and push higher. Let's see what we can do. And we have trend line liquidity on the buy side. Retail is looking at this as like a, what do you call this shit? I don't even know. But what we at? 1 hour. Okay. Run sell side. This was 9 a.m. Yeah, 9 a.m. This is 9:15. 9:30 opens. We tap the 4 hour order block. See if we get a shift. We run a little bit deeper. We can be running for the sell side liquidity. I'll keep that in mind too, because this is just a shit ton of lows built up. Especially respecting this 15-minute fair value gap. Yeah, I would not. I would not be opposed to looking at sells in this area. Oh yeah, I think we're gonna continue pushing lower for sell side, sweep sell side, and get into this gap here. I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm just looking at it as like a market maker sell model, accumulation or sell side liquidity, reaccumulation, smart money reversal, low risk sell. We get below this here so we can use these old areas of buying as new areas of selling. The only thing here is if I enter in here, stops would have to go above here. And stops. Oh, that's decent. Okay. Yeah, I like this because it just plays out. It makes sense in the sense that we respect this 15-minute fair value gap at the open. We trade below this old area of buying, new area of selling to get down into sell side liquidity. And from there, because retail is looking at this as a resistance area trend line, if we do sweep these lows, we can push higher for that buy side. Let's see if we create a fair value gap though. This may be a bigger time frame. trade, but in a 5 minute, it's there. Yeah, fully filled in and efficiency. Yeah, I like this. I'm gonna take it on a 15 minute. Place order, save, 5 minute, time check, 10:10. Goes for 15 minute real quick. See if we. All right, perfect. Yeah, so this 15 minute fair value gap here, I like this a lot. This makes sense. Retrace, push lower. Yeah, that's the sweep on the sell side there. There we go. Oh, generate even more sell side liquidity. And a little bit of drawdown, deep amount of drawdown. Price is just looking like it's gonna stop me out. So may get stopped out here. What the hell is going on with us not wanting to take out sell side liquidity? We get stopped out. I'll eat that. It made sense. Yo, I hate when price does this, man. It doesn't want to take out sell side liquidity for the life of it. Shoot, man. Yeah, we just ended up shooting up. This is 11:30. Yeah, that what do you call it? Trend line of liquidity is gonna get swept out. Let's go to the next session. Yeah. Okay. Price came down, failed to sweep lows, and then displaced higher. On a 15 minute, yeah, it starts setting up where you have your fulfill, shift, BISI left open, trade higher for PM. But I'd rather see lows get swept. On my daily chart, we took out buy side, so now we're at all time highs. And because of that, I may want to look at another pair. But now we can go from external range liquidity to internal. After sweeping out major buy side liquidity, we can go from external to internal. Like, crazy. Let's see what we can do here. We have one, two, three highs ran. Shift there. I mean, let's see what we do. It's Thursday. We're up 1,500, so I'll start upping the risk a little bit. We were up 18. This is 9:15. 9:30 opens, and we run below this low here into the gap. Do we push higher? And if we don't, what are we drawn to? I say these fucking lows down here. I think that's what we're drawn to. And I think we run this and then trade lower. So Friday we may see that run lower. Here is like a small setup, but there is relative equal highs that gets created. You still have your shift. I mean, not your shift. You have your run on buy side, fulfill on inefficiency, fulfill on a busy. City gets left open. Mean threshold of the city is your entry, and you trade lower. You also have your breaker here, and it could run south side. Yo, it's just running for that. That's the next fucking piece of liquidity. I wouldn't be surprised if it just tanks right here and just drops all the way down. So because it's already running, I'm not gonna look to chase it. Let's go to the next day, and we run that bitch. I knew it. Like it, it was too obvious, too clean to not run it. Like you have to be like a really not smart person to think that we're gonna keep these super clean. I mean, there's times where we have NQES and YM are supposed to be bullish instruments. They're supposed to be bullish instruments, so they're gonna leave and generate sell side liquidity and not come down to it. But that was too clean. That was way too clean. That was way too clean, my friend. So we ran that sell side liquidity. Depending on how we close here, on this day, this is Friday. Depending on how we close inside of this fair value gap, if we like fully fill it, we may come down to this fair value gap. But if we close above these lows here, because we reject this low, reject that low, reject this low, if we close above it, we may continue pushing higher. So let's just go on and see. We ran sell side, tapped into a 4 hour inefficiency. Now we have buy side liquidity generated up here. Remember the trend line of liquidity up here? Still hasn't been taken, but let's see what we're able to do here. So this is 9:15, 9:30. Start pushing higher a little bit more. This is 10 a.m. Run south side. No inefficiencies left open on the 15 minute. Oh, there was an inefficiency right here. I didn't see that. Which deal? Yeah, low, relatively equal lows. We close below this low here. These one, two, three up candles. We looked at as an order block to continue lower. Yeah, this fair value gap up in here, but it's this fair value gap. Price looks like it may continue pushing higher. Nice running for the open. Most likely we have this inverse gap here. This makes sense because we run sell side here, run buy side here. The dealing range is from this low to this high. We have this gap here that gets mitigated and can come down into that propulsion candle there to push higher. But this is creeping up around 12, so nice. There's that run there, push higher. That made sense. Run this low, run this high, fully fill in that 15 minute, uh, fully fill in that 15 minute civvy, and you can re-enter there for inverse to get up to the highs there. cool. So that may play out nicely for my daily chart. Exactly. So because we respect this daily inefficiency, I want to see internal to external. Buy side liquidity now up here. I haven't looked at ES or these boys over here, but yeah. Continue pushing lower on NQ. So that was nice to see. Sweeping these lows here into this fair value gap, that makes sense. Nothing crazy coming out of this. ES fiddling around, not doing much, and then YM is just shooting to the moon. Gold probably doing the same. And then dollar is struggling to pick a side. Like I said, I would like to see dollar run this high and then push lower. We do have news tomorrow at 8:30, so that may be the reason. Especially if like during PM we run this and then we fail to close above this high, we can look for that to sell off. That'll be nice. So that selling off would mean NQ, ES, YM push higher. Excuse me. So that'll be good to see. But continuing here, I would want to see buy side. We failed to close below this low, this low, this low, and this fair value gap. Fully rebalancing it, pushing higher is the goal. So on the 1 hour, you can see here we have the run on sell side here. Lower high, lower low, higher high. These 1, 2, 3 up candles are a order block that got filled, so it's a breaker. You got this gap in here. I believe this is Sunday open. Yeah, a Sunday opening gap. That can be looked at to support price. On a 15-minute, we have relative equal lows in here that we can look at. And we have some trend line liquidity here that can get broken through. So let's see if we support or if we resist the daily open here and this 15-minute SIBI, we can push down into sell side on the Sunday opening gap and then push higher. Or we can fully fill in this inefficiency and push higher for buy side, generating sell side, and then we have news later on this night, and then tomorrow morning, I believe that's 8:30. Yeah, and then Wednesday, FOMC, Thursday 8:30. So good amount of news for this week upcoming. This may be the last week that I do. So diving into it, this is 9 a.m. 9:15. Push higher. Nice. Running out buy side liquidity. Generating sell side. It is Monday, so let's see here. So it's swept here. Price came down here on 9:35, but fair value gap as a potential entry on the 15-minute. But we ran buy side here, traded into a 15-minute gap over here. So we do have sell side below us. So because we ran buy side first, we can look to potentially run sell side, and it's still pretty early in this session. No gaps yet. We do have this inefficiency here that can be used as a reason to sell. There is no real shifts or anything like that. Whoops. Yeah, we're looking like we're gonna sell here. relative equal highs there, but we're above buy side liquidity. This would have been a clean area to sell at, push lower for the relative lows there, and the sell side below that. 2 minute. Yeah, there's your 2 minute gap right there. So I would want to see price continue lower for sell side. Struggling a little bit. Time 10:55. Looking like we're going to push a little bit higher here. So let's delete these. Let me go up to my daily because I'm not going to trade this day. We have views there. Yeah, so continuing that bullish bias, we're going to push higher still. I was looking at this as a potential scalp to trade into the sell side liquidity and then look to rally higher, but because we're struggling to push lower, we may continue to push higher. So we came down into this order block and this inverse down here. Nothing on the 5 minute, on a 2 minute. Yeah, right here you have your shift, you have your structure. I mean, you have your sell side liquidity ran, full fill, inefficiency there, inefficiency left open here, entry here, shift there, push higher for relative equal highs. There you go. All right, let's go to next session. Okay, this may be a cleaner setup here. Daily. Daily, I'm going to continue looking for buy side. We have buy side there on a 4 hour. Yeah, we have that inefficiency there as well. Do have a little bit of sell side below us. Do have a little bit of sell side below us, but looking for buy side. And basing it off of 8:45's close here on the 15 minute, we may just continue pushing higher during 9:15, during 9:15, and 9:30. Just for buy side. This is 9:15. We have this fair value gap here. Yeah, 9:30 runs the high. Buy side liquidity. Taps this order, this fair value gap here. Again, this is another situation where we're near buy side liquidity, but we have some sell side generated. Um, Looking at this 4 hour as well, we ran out the buy side here. It will only make sense if we run out sell side here. Looking at the 1 hour, where are we? Yeah, we have sell side. We ran out buy side, failing. We have this hourly inefficiency here, this inverse fair value gap. And then we have this on the 5 minute. We don't have a full fill on an inefficiency. We have the run on buy side. We don't have a full fill. We have a shift in structure. We have a fair value gap entry here, but we also are playing around a fair value gap there. I would look at this for sells, and the reason being is because we ran buy side, at least for this day, still keeping the higher time frame order flow in check, and knowing that I want buy side liquidity. But we tap into this fair value gap over here. We're resisting, 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 resisting. We're failing to close above any of these highs over here. And that to me is showing resistance at this level in particular. So we may look for sell side, especially with some lows being generated underneath us. On a 15 minute, we run out that buy side, trade down into this inefficiency, but we create a change in state of delivery. We create this order block here where price can look to trade lower. So, oh man, I'm gonna take the sell just to test it out and see what happens. And that right there, that statement that I just said, I'm gonna take this trade just to see what happens, is not good. It's either I'm gonna take this trade because I'm confident, or I'm gonna not. Right? It's no in between. I'm gonna take this sell. I'm confident in it. We took out buy side and we started shifting lower. I mean, I don't see why we would continue higher, although we are structurally bullish, but we have a ton of sell side below us. So I'm going to take this sell and just manage my risk properly. Yeah, I'll risk 0.5% on this. Risk 0.5% at that fair value gap. Let's just manage our risk properly. We enter in. Just a little high. We're at 50% of the drawdown, the stop loss there. I'll close out because of how strong it's pushing. There's no real resistance here. So I'll close this out and see what happens. Yeah, it starts pushing higher. The draw is bullish. The structure made sense, but the draw is bullish. So good on me for closing out early. I should have never took taken the trade, but you live and you learn. So the lesson there for me is if I'm not 100% on the trade, don't take it. Even if it looks correct, there's more trades to come. This is only Tuesday. So keep that in mind for myself. Even though it's looking nice structurally, but it's against the overall draw, and I have like an inch of doubt in my head, there's no reason to take the trade because then I'm only wasting or I'm putting capital at risk, putting money at risk, and I'm not, you know, really 100% behind the trade. Mentally, not behind it. I'm like, oh, this may happen, but I don't know. So, yeah, let's continue forward. I think we're gonna continue pushing higher for buy side and draw to my highs. Yeah. Yep. That was the draw there. So price ended up coming into this 15-minute for value gap and pushing higher for buy side. So that was the Z trade there. So now here we close above this high and the buy side liquidity high there. We may look to continue higher. Well, after running out buy side, we can look for the retracement. Uh, so we ran buy side. You can look for a retracement to a fair value gap or lows, but it would just need to structurally be there. So going to a 15 minute. This is 9 a.m. This is 9:15. This is 9:30. Pushing higher. Pushing higher. I think this is 10 a.m. 10 a.m. takes out the high. Pushes higher. Pushes higher. Pushes higher. This is FOMC as well. So we're gonna skip this. Price ends up coming down during FOMC, trading lower. So on the daily, looks like a down candle. We do have this gap here that price is playing inside of. We came down to this old area of buying and pushing higher from it. Another area of generated sell side. You have this inefficiency over here. Accumulate, manipulate, distribute. Let's see, this is 9 a.m. This is 9:15. This is 9:30. We just shoot for the moon, taking out. You don't even take it out yet. Just generate buy side. Boom. Yeah. Continuing higher. This is Thursday. Yeah, just continuing higher. Bullishly. Now for Friday, as we're up inside of these highs. It's my range. 1, 2, 3. We sweep these lows here. Take out the buy side quickly there. Haven't taken out buy side or haven't taken out sell side. Take out buy side here. Trading down into this inefficiency here. Relative equal highs above us, relative equal lows below us. Just looking at this on the 15 minute, we're above buy side liquidity that we ran out. We have this breaker here. We ran out these highs here. Failure to displace above to buy side. We shift lower here. This is a 15 minute for value. 15 minute breaker. So let's see if we come into that, and then we can see potential displacement lower. This is 9 a.m. 9:15. 9:15 taps into that, and then 9:30 displaces. That would have been a clean sell. There's no areas of reentry in the 5 minute, but that would have been clean. Maybe we draw to these lows here or not. Let's see. He came down into this fair value gap. It looks like we're finding support of some sort here. Inside of it, it's 10:45. Failing to displace below this low. If we shift here, we can look for higher. And this goes all the way out into PM session. Yeah, so we support this for value gap here. If we continue pushing higher, let's see what we do. Trend line of liquidity forming. This is annoying. We run that trend line of liquidity there, pushing higher into this 15-minute breaker. But on the this is PM session now. Yeah. The dealing range here on this 15-minute is from this high to this low. So let's see what we do. We did tap into the breaker there. And this is just me just playing around, so I'm not even gonna continue this. This is the next day. So we tapped into that breaker again and then dropped because we have a shit ton of trend line liquidity. Yep, so that's gonna be it for this session here. Hour and 30 minutes, that's pretty solid. On the next session, what I'll do, where are we here? ES. Yeah, on the next session, I'll trade ES because NQ is at all-time highs. So I'll just trade ES for the next session and then go from there. Um, oil, oil too. I'll look to trade oil and ES, but I'll definitely trade ES next session, and then oil would be somewhere along those lines. Making some realizations in my trading, so that's good to see. Still some mistakes and still some bad habits that are there. They're pretty evident, but um, with time, things get better. So we'll go ahead and end this here. And until next time, we'll keep moving forward.